Target Friend Show.
What's up, you guys? Famous Ashley Grant here. I'm so excited today to bring you Bobbie Kingsbury of the Fashion Authority. We are going to jam on all things fashion blogging. Bobbie, tell everybody, say hello.
Hello. Hello.
Bobbie, tell us a little bit about what it is you do and what your plans for blogging are.
So I am a fashion designer and a fashion stylist and also a makeup artist. And what I do is help women feel better about getting dressed in the morning. We all start our day, no matter who you are. You start your day with, what am I going to wear today? What am I going to put on my body today? And some of us look in the closet with dread and others look in the closet with joy and, can't wait to put on whatever's in there. And so I want to help every woman find joy in their closet. And I do that through closet audits and shopping with them, doing, personal shopping and helping them find their style, helping them find colors and silhouettes that work for their body and things like that. I can also custom design garments for women if they so choose. I have done that in the past. And I've also created a couple of different lines myself that I've shown at fashion shows. And as far as blogging goes, I want to concentrate on like hacks, fashion hacks, or like just educating women on different things like, stripes, how to wear stripes, and how to choose foundation garments and how to find stores that might cater to your specific pain point. If you're petite, what are the best stores for petites? What are the best stores for plus size? What are the best ones for tall girls? Things like that. Like I believe that fashion is for everybody. And no matter what your body looks like, you should be able to get dressed and feel amazing in your clothes. And a lot of women are doing online shopping now. And thankfully, the internet is really helping women, especially with their like plus size women or, curvy women. There are a lot more choices today than there were years ago. A lot more choices. My mom was always plus size. Like since childhood, my mother was plus size. And back then in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you made your own clothes pretty much. But, in the 80s, my mom always wanted to look fashionable. My mother was a fashion plate, and pretty much the only places she could shop was like Fashion Bug Plus or like, Lane Bryant eventually, but there were not a lot of choices. So if my mom really wanted something fabulous, she either had to make it or she had to pay big bucks. And it shouldn't be like that. So now, more designers are starting to cater to plus size women. And then, my daughter's tall. She has the tall factor. And then my daughter-in-law is petite. In fact, she's only 4'7". So she has a very hard time. And one thing that I tell lots of women is that find yourself a tailor or a seamstress, because that person should be your best friend. Because what a lot of women don't realize is that everything you buy in the store off the rack, that's what it's called when you buy ready to wear, is off the rack. Those garments are catered to a woman that's 5'4". That's considered the average woman. And I'm 5'4". But then you have to consider other factors. Like, are you 5'4" and plus? You know what I mean? Or are you 5'4" and extra skinny? Women that are very slender and very petite have just as much hard time finding clothes as women that are large. So I want my blog, I want to help women to have like little life hacks or little shopping hacks, and understand what something means, or even as far as like the little RN on a tag. Like if you want to know who makes what, there's an RN number on a tag that tells you who manufactures that clothing. So if you're looking to see if something's vintage or if it's from like not Aeropostale, Abercrombie, or not that one either. Can't think of it. But there's a store that sells all these different labels. I'm having a brain fog right now. But Anthropology, that's what it is. Anthropology.
Okay.
They have all kinds of different brands. So if you want to see if it's an Anthropology brand, then you can look at the RN number and look that up online and see where it comes from or where it's made, who manufactures it.
Well, it sounds like from what you're telling me, you have a wealth of knowledge, but am I gathering the fact that you're basically going to niche to like a body positivity type fashion blog?
Yes. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Because I want women to know that your size does not mean you have to be like looking like a tent or, wearing muumuus or something. And I'm not just all about plus size. I'm here to help petite women too. I want fashion to be for every single body, every body. And a lot of women feel left out, but there are ways to feel included. And we all have to get dressed, no matter what your size is. You're always making fashion choices, whether you think you are or not. You're always making fashion choices because you're always putting something on your body. And that something, whether it's a t-shirt and sweatpants or a 3-piece suit, started with a fashion designer like me. It started somewhere. So, you have to take into consideration that you're always making fashion choices. You're either doing a good job or a bad job. You're either putting thought into it or not, but you're still making a fashion choice. You're still part of the whole. You know what I'm saying? So why not make it a better experience?
Well, one of the things that just came to me with what you were saying is somewhere on your blog, you need like a tagline of fashion for every body. And body being like bolded. Because that like you need to use that. You need some sort of like social media hook or something, because that's the big thing that just was coming through for me is fashion for every body. Not everybody, but everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's what I think. That's what I want to teach women, is that fashion is for every body. No matter what your body
yada.
Exactly.
Come through, Megan Thee Stallion. I'm feeling it.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, when it comes to fashion blogging, there is a crap ton of stuff that you could put on a blog. I mean, there's so many different ways to monetize. So I'm curious, once your new website is live, in fact, by the time this episode does go live, your website should be up. I'm curious as to what your plans are for your monetization.
I have to learn all that. That's something
I
have to learn because I don't know. Like I honestly have no idea. I'm a work in progress.
That's fantastic. That's perfect.
Monetize it before. And I definitely want to make as much money from as many sources as possible. So that's something I have to learn.
Well, that's actually perfect then. Would it be okay with you if we kind of jam on that for a second and maybe also help the listeners at the same time?
Yeah, so I'm going to take notes because I need this education.
Okay, well, in fact, if you want, like I said, I'll send you the transcript of this because I've definitely become, I guess you could say, obsessed with figuring out how you can take what you're doing with your website and turn it into different revenue streams. So one of the big things that a lot of people say for like different blogs is obviously you want to think about sponsorships. You want to think about the services or products that you offer. You want to think about if there's opportunity to sell your own products or those of another. So like affiliate marketing. In fact, I'm going to pull up some notes myself because I actually just wrote about this. Okay. So getting back to what we were just talking about, basically Bobbie has been fashion blogging before, but she's going to start fashion blogging again. And her website should be live by the time this episode goes live. And one of the things we're going to jam on real quick is I'm going to give Bobbie some ideas of how she can use her website to monetize her business. And so one of the big things that happens with a lot of fashion bloggers is they get into this business and think, okay, now that I'm fashion blogging, I'm going to just get sponsored by all the brands and they're going to all send me clothes and I'm going to look super cute and I'm going to get paid to wear their clothes. The reality is most people don't have enough of a following to get those big brand deals. Now, can you go viral? Of course you can. Can you suddenly get, inundated with a crap ton of opportunities to make money, like, your Addison Rays on TikTok, or your, of course, names are escaping me now that I want to talk about it. But yeah, there's lots of opportunities out there, and you don't have to be a viral vixen to make money. So a couple of the ways that you can make money as a blogger, if your blog is not exactly paying the bills. Let's jump right in. First one is with email marketing. And I'm the worst at this because I'm very bad at do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I'm forever telling people that if you're smart, you're going to start growing an email list. You're smart, you're going to grow an email list. And the reason for that is I'm sure you've heard the horror stories of people who build up a following on social media and then lose access to their accounts.
Yes, I have heard.
Yep. And this actually just happened. We were just talking about it with one of my clients. There is a YouTuber who does reviews of, I believe it's podcasting microphones. I could be wrong about this, but he lost access to his Google accounts because he was flagged as spam. He had to work with YouTube to get his videos back online.
Oh my gosh.
But during that time, he lost access to his community. And the big thing that everyone keeps saying is if you have a free platform that you are promoting yourself on, you do not have direct access to the people you're talking to. So you've got to have an email list, because that is something you own. That is something you can take with you from business to business. If you wake up one day and decide, I don't want to be blogging in this particular industry, I want to change, I can then send an email to all my followers and say, hey, I'm going to this new direction. Come with me. So that's a big thing. Have you thought about email marketing at all for your fashion blog?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I get emails from other bloggers. So sometimes it's a lot. And a lot of times I don't read what they send me, but at least I come to they come to my mind.
Okay.
You know, and like whenever I get an email from, we have a friend, I don't know if I want to say her name, but she does like tablescapes and home decor and stuff like that. She's very good, but I don't always read every blog that comes through.
Understood.
And I feel bad, but there are so many sometimes, and not just from her, but I'm signed up to so many lists that email feels, email feels really overwhelming.
Definitely.
I get so many emails every single day.
Yeah. And that's the big thing is a lot of people do, but it's still, the good thing about email is, unlike a Twitter feed that's going to, not be visible, that you don't have to scroll to get to it. If you ever do decide you want to go back to that message, you still can, unless you've deleted it, of course. But but that's always been one of my favorite things about email lists, is that if someone sends me a message that I think, okay, I want to read that later when I have time, I can. And I don't have to scroll through all the 11 billion selfies to get to their meat that they're trying to tell me about. So that's definitely one big thing. And then let's see, let's go down the list. YouTube is another one that I've seen a lot of bloggers starting to take advantage of, because, people love watching videos. So why not leverage YouTube to make a little cash? And one of my big things that I'm obsessed with is repurposing content. So one of the several of the marketers that I follow, what they do is they create YouTube videos, and then they take that content, they have it transcribed, and then they have a virtual assistant who takes all that content that's transcribed, and they turn those quotes into your Facebook posts, your Twitters, your Instagram posts, and all that good stuff. They'll take screenshots of the videos to create little images, or they'll take little clips of the videos to have your Instagram reels or Facebook videos, that kind of stuff. So I'm obsessed with repurposing content. And another thing you can do with the transcriptions is you can create blog posts from them. And that's actually one of the things that I have done for a couple of my clients. We will take a YouTube video that they have created, we transcribe it, we change up the verbiage so that it's more reader friendly than viewer friendly, and we
Right.
repurpose it as amazing blog posts. So now they've taken one thing that they created and they have multiple pieces of content that they can push out to their followers.
Right.
So,
That
and
makes
of course, with YouTube monetization, you can, get money through advertising. But the big thing for the smaller YouTubers is they use their descriptions, their YouTube descriptions, to add affiliate links or links to their courses, or some kind of something that they're trying to sell. And so
right.
that's definitely something that that I've been seeing more bloggers taking advantage of. In fact, I love following Income School. If you're a blogger and you're listening to this, and why would you not be a blogger if you're listening to this? It is the Bloggy Friends show after all. But
Right.
bloggers who are interested in doing YouTube, I highly recommend you check out the Income School. Their channel on YouTube is fantastic. They give a lot of amazing advice of how to promote yourself, how to grow your blog, how to niche it down, all that good stuff. And one of the things that they talk about a lot is that when you have YouTube, you can get a lot more visibility. And every single time that you put out a new blog or excuse me, a new video, you can add your blog links to your description so people can get more information. And one of my clients, she has a YouTube following that's better than her blog, and her blog is increasing in page views because of her YouTube channel. And so she's just started monetizing and she's just started outsourcing, and she's amazing. But it's interesting that YouTube is becoming a way for bloggers to get more attention on their blogs, even though they're different mediums.
Yeah.
I find that kind of stuff fascinating. So is any of this resonating with you so far? What are you thinking as
Yeah.
you I see you writing notes. I know that we're not doing this on video, but we are as I'm talking with Bobbie, she and I are on a Zoom call right now, and so I can see she's writing notes. But so what are you thinking, Bobbie? Tell me the thoughts going through your head.
Yeah, I definitely want to use YouTube, but that's just like another thing that I have to learn. So it's like, oh my God, there's so many things to learn.
That's so true. And it can be overwhelming.
It is overwhelming because like Instagram just changed their algorithm. They're only pushing video. They're not, likes and comments don't mean anything on Instagram anymore. They're trying to keep up with TikTok.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah, the CEO of Instagram just came on and said, we're going to do more reels to compete with TikTok, and they're really more about shopping and the marketplace now. So basic people, like the wave of influencers, nobody's looking at pictures. Instagram's not going to push pictures.
Right.
They're going to push video. And so algorithms are changing. So like, I was like, geez, I got to be Martin Scorsese all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like, it's what, you think you're a fashion designer or fashion stylist, but really you have to think like a movie maker.
Yeah.
You have to, everything is video, and people want to get to know you. So video is king, because people can only get to know you so much through pictures and through copy. They want to get to know you through video. So now most of my day is going to be spent learning how to do reels or how to make TikTok videos, how to edit. Like, not only are you and that's the thing, like Martin Scorsese doesn't edit anything, but now like we as creators and content creators, we have to learn how to video ourselves, then edit our videos, then upload our videos and add special effects. And it's like, we're doing the job of like 20 people if we were actually movie makers. So
that's absolutely true. I often say that the life of a blogger is you have to be a one-man band. You have to learn so much in order to make a go of it. And I find it fascinating that some people who want to get into blogging, they expect as soon as they hit publish that they're just all of a sudden going to be a star. And unfortunately, this isn't Field of Dreams. Just because you build it, that doesn't mean they're going to come. So, so I definitely agree with you that there's a lot, and the blogger's job is never done. It's just not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm fascinated to hear that about the Instagram, because I kind of suspected that's where things were going, because everybody's attention span is getting shorter, but But there is still something to be said about repurposing videos to put them on your blog, because SEO is still a thing.
Yeah.
SEO is still, the best way that a blogger can reach out to new people that are looking for them. And so one of the things that I have been reading a lot about is that if you are doing YouTube videos or, Instagram videos or whatever that you plan on repurposing, make sure that as you're talking, you use the keywords that people are going to be searching for. And the big reason for that is, with closed captioning and YouTube transcripts and things like that, as you're talking to people, those keywords are going to be coming up in search.
Yeah.
And if you add them to your descriptions and things like that, you're getting more opportunities to be found by the people who need you.
Right.
So that's a big thing. But back into our monetization talk, and a few other ways that a fashion blogger can definitely monetize. And in fact, this isn't just specific to fashion bloggers. This is to basically anybody. Is take the subject that you are learning so much about, or that you know so much about, and write a book. I have a full series on the GoDaddy blog about taking your blog and turning it into a book. I think it was called Blog to Book or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was a really fascinating interview series that I did that turned into this condensed, amazing piece where we took real bloggers who were taking all their amazing content, they repackaged it and repurposed it into stunning books that they're now making income from. So, so that's definitely one amazing thing that you can do. Other things you can do include live workshops, consulting, teaching programs, speaking gigs, podcasting. Heyo.
Yeah.
One of the people that I absolutely love, in fact, they're who I host my podcast with, is RSS.com podcasting. They are partnered with Podcorn. And what's amazing about this partnership is it used to be that if you wanted to get sponsored on your podcast, you had to go and you find a brand who you then say, these are my number of downloads, these are the number of listeners, et cetera, et cetera. And then you would pitch them like, hey, if you pay me this much money, I'll put an ad on my podcast. Well, what Podcorn did is they go and find the brands. All you do is click and apply. And so they partner you with people who want to pay podcasters to have space to talk to their audiences, and they make it a little bit easier. And I love the fact that opportunities like this are coming out right now, because it makes it easier on the content creators who don't have, the huge followings to still be able to figure out how to monetize.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, now that I've said a few things, I'm curious, are the wheels in your head turning? Do you have any ideas on how you want to monetize your own?
Yeah. So a couple of things that you just mentioned, writing like a little ebook or self-publishing a book is something that I have definitely thought about, because I do have such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to fashion and style and things I've blogged about before that are still, like, some information just doesn't go out of style. Like,
oh, I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like fitting yourself for a bra, or knowing what bra size. And so many women are wearing the wrong bra size.
Yes.
And you could blog about that 10 years ago and it's still the same information today. It's still information women need to know.
Yep.
And somehow women are still wearing the wrong bra size, even though the information is out there. And there are stores that will literally fit you for free, will measure you and tell you what your correct bra size is. And just learning like about foundation garments, Spanx, and what underwear to wear, and, things like that. Those things you could write about now or 10 years from now, and it's probably still going to be the same useful information. So, I definitely want to do an ebook, and then e-learning. Like, I'm working on a class right now about the basic 10 style basics, and how to mix and match those style basics. So it's like a little mini class. It's not like a 5 or 8 week class. It's just like a mini class teaching you style basics. Because a lot of times when women say, I have nothing to wear, it's because they have possibly not enough staples in their wardrobe. So I go over what the top 10 are. There are more staples than just 10, but the top 10 that I think every woman should have in her closet. And then if you have those 10 pieces, I tell you how to incorporate them into your other pieces. So either you're missing the style basics, or you have too many trendy pieces, or you have things that you've bought on impulse. Usually when people have nothing to wear in their closet, they either don't know how to style their own closet, or they're missing basics, or like so many women will go and find a sale and they'll be like, oh my God, this Tory Burch dress, it was 300 and now it's 50. And, how can I not buy it? How can I not buy this $50 dress that was $350 or whatever? So they'll buy something that may not really fit them, may not really be what they need, may not really be their style. But what they're doing is they're getting a high off of the score. The purchase itself is a win and a score for them. But then they never wear it. And then that dress ends up sitting in their closet with the tags on forever. And when I go in and I say, when was the last, you never wore this dress, it still has tags on it. And they're like, oh, I know, but it was such a great deal. Well, it's not a great deal if you never wear it.
Yes.
Right? It's never money spent where you think you're saving money because it was such a great deal. You're not saving if you're spending. You're spending.
Yes.
Yes, you may be saving off of the retail price, but if you never wear that garment because you don't know what shoes to go with it, or what bag goes with it, or what, if it's a shirt, what pants go with it, or what skirt goes with it, it's not a bargain if you never wear it. It's just not. So
well, it sounds like a lot of things that you're saying, we're going to all be expecting your course to come out and your blog to come out, because you got to add it all to the to-do list. I'm curious, what are you wanting to know about blogging that maybe I could help you with and help our listeners as well?
Yeah, definitely. The monetization is something I wanted to know about. And then just how to get people to see it. Because when I think the reason I stopped writing was because I was like, no one's seeing this stuff. I'm like, this is like a diary. This is like an online diary. Mm-hmm. Who the hell is reading my blog? Nobody. You know what I mean? So like, how do you get people to see it and know about it? I guess it's all about promotion. And back in 2011 through 2013, when I was originally blogging about fashion, there wasn't as much promotion as there is now. Like now people are really online and they're really looking for content, and it's a much different world now than it was a decade ago.
That's absolutely true. Well, let me pull up some more help.
And podcasts. I'm interested in doing a podcast, a fashion podcast, obviously. And speaking gigs. I love to do speaking gigs. I've been talking to a doctor's office recently through Working Women of Tampa Bay, and they want someone to come in and talk to their staff about style and things like that. So I used to do a lot more speaking gigs, and I kind of fell out of that, and I want to get back into doing more speaking gigs as well.
Yeah, I definitely
agree. Because there
agree.
are so many things I could talk about.
Same. And that's actually one of the reasons I started the podcast, is there were so many things I wanted to talk about and I didn't want to wait on a stage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Well, you had said that one of the things that was frustrating you whenever you first started blogging is that you couldn't get anybody to actually view it. Right. And one of the things that I'll do is in the show notes, I'm going to leave a link to episode 3, because in episode 3, we talk about 10 ways that you can promote your blog for free. And just to do a quick recap, I will go ahead and share a couple of those things with you guys, so everybody can kind of know what's coming in that episode. But the very first thing I talk about is guest posting. And these days it's guest podcasting. Everyone is talking about guest podcasting. And the reason why is it takes so long to write a post. I totally get it. That's why I'm a ghost blogger. People pay me to write their blogs for them, because it does take a lot of time. So guest podcasting gives you the ability to still get the backlink, still get the SEO, still get the traffic, but you just have to show up and just spew your knowledge. So guest posting, that's the very first way. A couple of other things that I recommend if people are trying to get traffic and promote their websites is to participate in roundups. Basically what that is where you are submitting your website link to, like, let's say a roundup of fashion hacks or recipes. that kind of stuff. So if someone's saying that they want to do like the top 10 fashion hacks of how to save the most money for getting your holiday dress, you would say, oh, I have an amazing tip and here's my link, that kind of thing. Other things that you can do to promote is participate in giveaways with other bloggers, use your email signature, get in the press, write for Medium, Reddit, Quora. I actually am on Medium. So if anybody wants to follow me, it's famousashleygrant.medium.com. So let's be friends. Strategic use of social media. Believe it or not, there's a right way and a wrong way to do social media. And well, I already said the podcasting thing, but interview experts and quote them on your own blog. So one of the things that I love doing is going and finding people who are experts in their niche and learning what it is that they're doing and then quoting them in articles. I'm obsessed with HARO. You and I have talked about this before, Bobbie.
Yes.
HARO is it stands for Help a Reporter Out. And what's amazing is how many experts participate in it. And so if you're working on a blog, it's a great place to get experts to talk to you. Now, grant you, HARO does have the requirement that you have to have so many page views to be able to use that website as where you're going to be posting the blog. But one of the things that I have found that I have been loving is if you post an article on medium.com, they have a lot of domain authority. They have a lot of page views. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door to interview these experts. So you get them, you post your query, say, I'm going to be posting this on medium.com. You get all your awesome quotes, then go back to those people and say, hey, I want to do a special profile on you for my blog as well. Would you be open to that? And that's actually one of the things that I'm working on right now is I'm interviewing experts on a bunch of different things for Medium articles, because then I can get it on Medium. Then I can go back and say, let me interview you again. And I'm going to just do it on you. Nobody else is going to be featured in this particular post. It'll be a spotlight on you, but it's going to go on my own website. Would you be okay with that? And sometimes you'll get a yes. So the last one for promoting is network. And that's one of the other things we're doing right now. I mean, Bobbie and I are sitting here having this conversation and we're networking. We actually met at a networking event. Was it Wine, Women, and Shoes back in Tampa way back in the day?
It was probably that. That was 2010.
Oh my word.
Yeah, the first Wine, Women, and Shoes in Tampa was in 2010, and I was the corporate sponsorship chair for that event. Yeah,
that's awesome. It's so wild how things like this come full circle, and it's why if you're not networking right now and you want to do anything online, start networking. Get out there. You got to talk to people. You got to talk to people.
You worked for 10, and I worked for 10, but we worked for 10 at different times.
Yes,
I worked for 10 News from 2013 to 2015.
Yeah, I don't remember what years I worked because I was what she's referencing is the fact that I used to do some blogging for what it was called Metromix at the time. It was an affiliate of the channel news station in Tampa, and that was one of the big things that I had started doing. Is I was using my own name. What a shocker! I was, and what's funny is Channel 10 that experience. That's how I got my name, Famous Ashley Grant. I don't know if you knew that.
Ron from the Dawn.
Yes. And so I'll leave a link to that in the show notes as well. Speaking of which, if you're listening to this and you want some of the show notes that we're discussing, it's going to be at bloggyfriends.com/fashion authority. So that's bloggyfriends.com/fashion authority. So make sure you check out the show notes for everything that we're saying. If you have heard anything that you want some more answers to, by all means, holler at me. I love answering questions and I love sharing my knowledge. So, Bobbie, what else would you like to discuss about your Fashion Authority blog?
Well, I just want it to be a place where women can be inspired and feel good about themselves and gain some hacks for, getting dressed and feeling fabulous. And also, I want to be able to be like someone you turn to if you have any questions. So I would love it if people gave me, ideas of what they want to know about. I mean, is that something that happens with you? Like when you post a blog and people comment, do people comment like, oh, could you do a blog on this or that, or do you know anything about that? Like, do people ever turn to you with questions?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel bad because sometimes the questions I get are ones I don't know the answer to, but
That's okay.
you can definitely get questions. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cause that definitely happens, because once you start putting yourself out there, especially if you're setting yourself up as an expert,
Yeah.
you're basically saying you can ask me anything and I can tell you. And so there's still a lot I'm learning. I gotta say, there's a lot I'm
Yeah.
still learning, because one of the questions that actually came through from a GoDaddy blog that I posted, I don't know how to answer this person. So I'm still learning.
That's awesome. But that also, I feel like even if you don't know the answer to something, it gives you an opportunity to research it and to find out for yourself.
That's
and
true.
then that makes you even more of an expert or someone that people can turn to for answers. And I want to be approachable. And I feel like, there's an aspect of just being genuine. You know what I mean? I always want to come across as genuine. I am one of the most real people ever. I never try to be someone else. I only try to be me. And my personality, either you like it or I feel like you don't. Like, I am one of those people that just comes at you bold and with truth. And I rarely sugarcoat things. I'm not someone who's ever malicious in my delivery or mean, but like, if something doesn't look good on you, I'm going to say that's not your best look.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to hold back and say, oh, that dress is fine on you if it's not fine on you, because I want to be the person to tell you the truth.
Yes.
But I try to deliver it in a way that's kind, but gets the point across. Like, that's really not your best look. You really don't need to be wearing that silhouette. This silhouette's better. And I always try to emphasize what's working as opposed to what's not working. But if you have the same style in your closet and it's all baggy men's t-shirts, I'm going to say that's not your best look. You can wear t-shirts, but the baggy men's t-shirts have got to go to the men in your life, not to you, and not to you, right? So, but we all have our comfort clothes and things like that. So I want people to be able to approach me, and I want my information that I put out there to be like readily accepted and not feel judgy, or I want women to be able to use what I'm saying to their benefit. I want it to be beneficial, but also real and genuine.
Well, I think that one of the biggest things that's coming through this entire interview that we're doing is you're going to need to create a content calendar. You need an editorial calendar. That I use those words interchangeably, but it's almost like from what you're telling me, I'd like to see you create like a series of campaigns. Like in campaign 1, I'm talking about body positivity. In campaign 2, I'm talking about the different ways to style yourself. In campaign 3, maybe the different pieces that you need, that kind of stuff, like the fashion staples, as you said. So almost like what you're going to put in the course you're discussing, but like bite-sized bits that can be searchable, that people can find you. One of the big pieces of advice that I always give to people whenever they're asking me what the heck to put on their blog is think about your reader. Think about your ideal person and what they will be searching for. When they go to Google, what are they typing into the Google search box? So maybe for you, they're going to be searching, what's going to make me look the most flattering for my 10-year reunion, or what color outfit will make me look like I've lost 10 pounds, that kind of stuff. So, because the big thing about search engines is they are all about the user experience. They want the user to come to them and get exactly what they're looking for. So that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give you, is make sure that anything you put on your blog is not about you. It's got to be about your reader.
And do you link anything to Pinterest? Are you using Pinterest as a search engine?
Yes. And that's a big thing that I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of bloggers about. Pinterest is not social media, my friends. I want to make that very clear, bloggy friends. Pinterest is not social media. Pinterest is not where you go to like and comment. It's more about search engine. Think of Pinterest as a search engine, because if you think about it, when people are searching for things, the images on Pinterest are what's coming up first. The images on Pinterest are what's showing up in search. So make sure you're using those SEO words in your descriptions on Pinterest. And what's awesome is Pinterest will let you link directly to your Etsy store. They will let you link directly to your Shopify store or your whatever it is you're trying to sell. So it doesn't always have to necessarily come to your website. It doesn't always have to come to your blog, but make sure you're thinking about the things that people are going to be searching for and include those in your Pinterest descriptions. And one of the things I'll do is I have taken some amazing Pinterest courses, and I will link those in the show notes as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
No problem. What else can I give you, Bobbie? And what else can I give my bloggy friends?
Yeah, I mean, just knowing, like, I don't feel like I have a lack of content, but I guess I'm wondering, like, do you have to add photos to every blog? Do you add photos to your blogs?
Yes.
Are photos important? Do you have to incorporate videos into your blogs?
I'm going to pull up a statistic because I don't want to screw this up.
Because I have content. I have no shortage of content. I've written down all sorts of things. And then I know that as people start to read my blog and ask me questions, I'll have even more to talk about. There's no end of content, but creating engaging content or creating visually interesting, appealing content.
Absolutely. Okay. So advice on content, including images. Yes, absolutely. You want to include images with your blog content. And one of the reasons for this is Search Engine Journal reported earlier this year, I believe it was February, they said over 20% of all US web searches happen on Google Images. Now, did you hear that? I'm going to repeat it, bloggy friends. Over 20% of all US web searches happen on Google Images. What that means is people are not looking at Google search results with text. And the reason for this is they're in the line at the grocery store. They're in the waiting room at the doctor's office. They're waiting on their kids' soccer practice to be over. They're looking at images, and the reason that they can quickly do that instead of reading all this text is they can look down at their phone, scroll down to what looks interesting, and then click to read more if they want to. So yes, absolutely. You've got to make sure that you're using images. And here's the thing. The image does not necessarily have to be exactly what you're writing about. It needs to be relevant to what you're writing about. Mm-hmm. But like if you're saying something about a black blazer, obviously you want to have a picture of a black blazer, but it doesn't have to be like so specific to your topic. What matters is that you need something that's eye-catching, and it has to have the alt text. I say this a lot to a lot of my clients is you want to include the alternate description, and the image title has to be something that includes your keywords. So let's say we're writing about, give me a fashion subject, Bobbie.
Let's talk about foundation garments like underwear, Spanx.
Okay, foundation garments. So let's say your keyword is foundation garments. The images you're using need to start with your keyword foundation garments and then end with your description of what it is that's in the picture. So let's say it's Spanx. So your alt text would be foundation garments, foundation dash garments dash Spanx. And then in the alt description, you're going to say the same thing, but without the little dash. So it'll be foundation garments Spanx. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so just doing that simple tweak whenever you load your image, now instead of your image title being image, or what is it usually? IMG_27349, it now says fashion garments Spanx. Did I lose you?
No, I'm sorry. I accidentally muted myself. Yeah, that makes so much sense. I'm so sorry. It's like beep. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. So yes, you definitely want to be using images. And another thing is to, yes, if you do have any videos, even if it's just TikTok videos that you've created or Instagram videos that you've created or Facebook videos that you've created, take those videos, repurpose them, put them on your YouTube channel. And the reason I say YouTube is that I feel like their embed codes are better than other social media. I'm probably going to have people come at me for that. But the truth is, I have had images and videos that I've embedded from Facebook or Instagram. And for some reason on a WordPress blog, give it a couple weeks and it's like broken. I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong. Maybe it is. But what I have found is when you're embedding videos from YouTube, it tends to translate better on web. And I like the controls better. And it also allows me to take advantage of the descriptions and things like that. So yes, include as many videos as you can. In fact, if you can create a playlist of amazing stuff that's related to the campaigns that you're writing about. So like if you're doing the 10 ways to style yourself, maybe you do 10 videos, 10 quick videos that you can then transcribe and turn into your blog post. And then you have a playlist of 10 ways to style yourself that you can also embed into the articles.
Yeah.
And round we go.
And round we go. That's really good. That's really good. Good information.
Well, so Bobbie, I have to ask you, where can people find you online once your fashion blog is alive and kicking?
Okay, so my website is thefashionauthority.co, not com, co. And my social media handles, Instagram and Twitter, are at Bobbie Kingsbury, which is my name, Bobbie. Don't spell my name wrong. And my page on Facebook is The Fashion Authority. If you look me up through Facebook, you can find my page at The Fashion Authority. And TikTok is at Boston Bobbie, which may be changing if I figure out how to do it. But I'm on TikTok as well. Very new to TikTok, but I'm on TikTok as well. And then my WordPress blog is Fashion Authority Bobbie.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we will leave all the links to all this juicy goodness down in the show notes. And again, guys, if you are listening to this episode and you want to catch those show notes, it's bloggyfriends.com/fashion authority. Again, that's bloggyfriends.com/fashion authority. Well, Bobbie, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to talk about before we wrap this one up?
No, but I'm really excited when I get my podcast going. I want you to come on my podcast.
Absolutely. It's a date. We'll make that happen.
Once I get that up and running, because I definitely want to interview amazing, intriguing people like you.
I love that. That's fantastic. Well, and if anybody that's listening to this is interested in starting a podcast, I definitely recommend checking out rss.com. You can start your podcast completely for free, and you do not have to include your credit card information whenever you sign up. And anybody who is a student or educator, if you have a .edu email address, you can get 61% off of your podcast hosting fees. So again, that's rss.com. Please check that out. And Bobbie, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And bloggy friends, until next time, may your page views be high and your bounce rate be low.